Hey guys, welcome to another day of The Fight. As you should have already read in the Fight Plan today, we're going to be looking at the whole process of habit becoming addiction. Firstly, when you look at porn, there's a whole lot of adrenaline and other chemicals that are released in your brain that combine to give you a rush or a buzz, much like you would get when you use certain types of drugs. You see, porn seems to mess with our brains, and the release of chemicals and adrenaline for most guys is quite addictive. Secondly, scientists have suggested that when we carry out a certain thought pattern or behavior repeatedly, over and over again, a groove or an indentation is actually kind of carved into our brains. The more times that we repeat this behavior or thought pattern, the deeper the groove that gets imprinted on our brain. It's much the same as if I run this knife through a tub of butter. Scientists say that we are much more likely to fall into thought patterns and behaviors that have the deepest grooves already indented in our brains. When we start to act or think in one of these groove patterns, it's almost a foregone conclusion that our behavior will conclude or bring us to the same place that it always has in the past. Think about it for a minute. Your life is full of routines and habits that you don't even think about. In the morning, you get up, your alarm might go off, and you get into the getting up groove. Well, most of the time anyway. You don't have to think about how you're going to get up and what process you're going to go through. You just get into that groove and you do it, often even half asleep still. For me, it's, the alarm goes off, I hit the alarm, I get out of bed, I go to the shower, I get in the shower, I turn the water on, I wash myself, I wash my face, and then I might wash under my right arm, under my left arm, probably too much information, I know. Wash the rest of my body, get out, etc., etc. I don't have to think about that process. It's just something that I've done so many times that it kind of almost just automatically happens, even if I still am half asleep. Let me tell you a bit of an embarrassing story from my own life that illustrates how deep these grooves in our brains can be. I woke up one morning when I was about 16. I woke up in the shower this morning, and I was in the process of having a shower. I couldn't actually remember getting out of bed and walking to the shower and getting in. But anyway, there I was, so I finished my shower, I got out and I saw my school uniform ready for me to put on. So I put it on, I walked out of the door of the shower, and standing out there was my mum. And she said to me, "Adrian, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting ready for school like I always do." And she took me over to the window and lifted the curtains out of the way, and outside it was actually pitch black. It was 11:30 at night, and I had only gone to bed an hour before. You see, the groove in my brain was so deep and so indented that I had actually walked in my sleep from my bed to the shower and started the getting up process. You see, that's part of the problem with porn. When porn has met a need deep inside of us repeatedly over time, it can only take just a stray thought or, an image that we might see on TV, or a sense of things not quite being right deep inside of ourselves for us to find ourselves then looking at porn, trying to find the comfort that we're looking for. There'd be lots of days where right early in the day I would be thinking thoughts that were pretty dodgy. And, I would think about those things throughout the course of the day and allow my mind to dwell on that stuff. And it was almost guaranteed that later on that day, at some point, I would find myself looking at porn to fill the emptiness inside. Why don't you go back to today's fight plan and think this through some more for yourself.